In today's video, the power of consistency.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and usually I'm answering one of your questions, but today's video I want to talk a little bit about the journey, the process that is strength sports, that is bodybuilding, that is powerlifting, that is us as human beings getting better at what we do and becoming better. And I have the insane privilege of helping people. I literally open up my email every day and feel like I am looking at the most elite people in the world, in the fitness industry, who are looking to me for guidance. And this last weekend was just an amazing example of that, and I want to highlight a little bit about what I did. I went to Spokane, Washington for USAPL Raw Nationals. Now, I rarely ever miss USAPL Raw Nationals. It's like the Olympia for powerlifting, in my opinion. It's a great event. I got to catch up with some old friends, but the real reason I went was I had clients competing. Okay, I had two of my clients who are powerlifters. Now, I don't work with a lot of powerlifters at this point. I have basically just taken it down to a few here and there, but Shawn Collins and Long are actually training partners. So I'm going to show you some of the footage here. I'll probably overlay it, but I want to explain the journey a little bit for my friend Shawn. So Shawn reached out to me in 2015, and really he was just looking to put on some muscle. And he expressed to me that he enjoyed the lifts, the main lifts, the squat, the bench, the deadlift. So we got into doing some of that, and I noticed when he was testing that he was getting pretty strong at these lifts. I also noticed one key ingredient which is important for powerlifting, and that is he was built for it. There was not any wasted motion in his technique, as you'll see in some of his lifts. He basically looks like a piston. Whenever he's lifting, it just looks like the bar goes down and up. For someone like myself at 6'3", when I squat, there's a lot of moving parts, and I feel like that's where my body breaks down. But with Shawn, I got very comfortable at programming, and the first time we actually tested his 3 lifts, his total was 1,100 pounds back in 2016. Well, I put him on a very, very specific program for powerlifting once we decided we were going to do a meet. Well, this year was the first year that we went into Raw Nationals in the top 10. That's right, in Raw Nationals they actually separate the top 10 lifters in each division, and they put them on their own platform at night, and they call it prime time. So this was a real privilege for me because I got to coach during prime time with the 83 kilogram lifters. Long trained the day before, lifting in flight C, which was one of the higher flights, so he was very strong, narrowly missing the prime time. So Shawn got to lift in prime time on Friday night, and man, how exciting was it to be there as a coach. It's probably one of the more exciting times in my life. You know, I think back to last year when Lauren Miller won the overall at Nationals, and seeing them and hearing the call outs, that was another one of those moments. But with Shawn, the difference with powerlifting is that the strength is in your hands. If you complete the lift, you get your placing. If you don't, you don't. And there's no, really, there could be some judging going on, but really it's in your hands. And so what I really want to point out with consistency with Shawn is that we took his 1,100 pound total, and we are now inching closer to a 1,700 pound total in powerlifting. And why? Well, it's the things I mentioned. It's Shawn's hard work, it's Shawn's dedication, it's Shawn's talent for the sport, but it's also just that he's been super consistent. Shawn's been eating very well for the last few years. His macros as an 83 lifter, I'll even tell them to you: 250 protein, 530 carb, 105 fat. That's what he maintains his weight on. That really allows us to put on some muscle. And if you see Shawn in person, I don't know if it'll come across in these videos that you're watching, but he is a strong, looks like a spark plug. He's like jacked, right? So he fits the part of what you would expect a power lifter in the elite level to look like. But getting into prime time is a double-edged sword, because you are lifting with the best 83 kilogram lifters in the nation, and we knew that going in. In fact, last year at Raw National, Shawn was not in prime time. However, his total qualified him for 8th place. He leapfrogged some of the lifters that were in prime time, and also qualified and applied and lifted at the Arnold Classic. and placed third there. So he had a history of improving, right, and getting better. So our goal this year was just to get into that top 5. And after going all his squats, going 3 for 3, going 2 for 3 on bench, narrowly missing his 3rd attempt on bench, we came into the deadlifts and we were chasing. He was actually in 9th place going into his final deadlift. Now, Shawn has an excellent deadlift, but what happens at the very end of a powerlifting meet is you're allowed to change your lift attempts. So when we put in his final deadlift attempt at 315 kilos, what that meant was everyone that was deadlifting ahead of him had to pay attention to what he was doing. So maybe they started changing their numbers to make sure he didn't leapfrog them. 4th place through 9th place were all within about 5 kilos of each other. So what this meant was we would have the opportunity to adjust our final attempt based on what it needed to be to get the win. So it was very exciting for me, and a few of the lifters that went ahead of Shawn, I noticed that they had missed their lifts, meaning Shawn no longer needed 315 to get into the top 5. We actually changed his deadlift at the last second to 312.5, and here is the pull for 4th place, jumping from 9th place at USAPL Raw Nationals. Check it out. Now, as you see, guys, that was a very exciting moment. You know, me running across the platform there, it was just pure joy, because when you coach someone for years, you know, you build a relationship. And this was just one of those fun moments. And I realize most of my videos I'm giving back to you guys, I'm trying to put some information out there, but this one's a little bit for me. This one's gonna be something that I look back at in a few years and go, remember that day with Shawn? Remember that time we had a good time? Me and Long and Shawn. We all shared a hotel room. We all went out to eat together. We went to the gym together. It's just one of those great weekends as a coach where you really get to know your athletes, and it's just such a blessing to get to do what I do. But congratulations, Long. Congratulations, Shawn. And thank you, Ashton, for hanging out with us all weekend. I had an amazing time in Spokane, Washington. Amazing city. Love the weather. Love the food. And I'm going to put a little video here for you guys to see. I'm not just blowing it out of the water every time I travel. I'm staying in shape. I actually focus on these trips on going out and enjoying myself, but staying within my daily macros. And this just shows you, you can travel, you can do things and stay in shape if that's your goal. So again, I feel like, that's being a little bit preachy, but you know what? This is about me sharing you my message. I travel, I work. I travel, I keep up with my diet. I travel, I coach. I come home, spend time with the family, and we keep it all going, guys. And that's the big thing, is just being consistent. Being consistent over a long period of time leads to great things, like Shawn getting top 4 in the nation. And you know, we got our sights set on top 3, top 2. You know, my man Russ really is just pulling away as far as the 83 kilo class goes. Shawn Noriega and Russ are in an elite level. We're quite a bit behind them as far as kilos go, but I feel like we can get to that top 3 next year with a good showing. So let's see what happens with this year, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Answer any of your questions you have on my Instagram. Send me some DMs, and I'll talk to you soon.
By myself.